Welcome to the world of Harthron. I'm your host, storyteller, and dungeon master Bilbo. Tonight, we are starting a brand new story. Are we pirates now?
Only because they got captured.
So, if you've tuned into Twitch to watch this now, please hit the follow button. And if you're watching this later on YouTube and you enjoy the episode, please hit the like button, the subscribe button. It really helps our small channel grow in viewership. On Wednesday nights, we at 7:30 Central Time on Twitch, we also are playing a series, Tales from the Yawning Portal. Currently adventuring in Dead and Thay, and you can actually go back on YouTube and watch from the very beginning when we started out in Sunless Citadel, and they've gone through every adventure since. So let's get into tonight. We last left off where our heroes left the Caves of Chaos in search for their wizard, Oliver. Eryn tracking the footprints of Oliver along with goblin tracks. The group discovered the Goblin River tribe traded Oliver to the orc slavers of the Tefmar clan.
Yeah.
In exchange for a half-orc cleric named Dramire, who was outcasted by the orc clan because he secretly was worshipping Morgulloth. Dramire, Ozichar, and Risna were taken down by the orc slavers in a brutal battle, while Alexianna and Eryn escaped using the trees as ropes to flee to safety. Alexianna and Eryn then followed the orc slavers to the river, where they witnessed their three friends being sold to pirates on a very large longship. The orc slavers went back into the woods, and this large longship slowly started moving back towards the port city of Kraton. So let's go with Alexianna and Eryn as they are following, not necessarily chasing down. This longship doesn't seem to be moving very fast down the coastal line. They, of course, will be ahead of you, but you guys managed to make it to this large city of Kraton, and you two, I believe, came from this area originally, or at least through the port. Mm-hmm. And so you're at least familiar with the city. It's a large city. It's very congested. A lot of buildings, a lot of one-story brown roof buildings. But the port is rather large, and actually part of the port is walled in as well. Just in the sense, this port is one of the free ports where pirates do seem to come and go, and they hire on ships and so forth. And so you guys make your way to the docks in hopes that you can get on this ship before it leaves. And let me. Why don't you guys give me a joint investigation check?
That we can do.
So one of you can roll, who's ever best at advantage or at investigation, and roll at advantage.
Okay. Well, you go ahead and roll.
This one?
Yep.
So 2 20s, and give me your highest roll.
Can you give me a 10?
Not a 12.
Oh my god, same number. Not good.
4 on both. That's awful.
All right. So you will manage to find the ship, but you won't be able to find as you're trying to get there, trying to get any information as you're running through and trying to ask questions about this large, long, you think it's probably a warship. Try to get its name or anything, captain's name. You don't get any of that. You just get a bunch of sailors like, get out of here, and keep moving.
Hold on.
Wait.
You rolled a 4 on the die. What's your investigation? Oh, never mind. You're worse than I am.
So But you will come up and you will come up to the docks here, and this large, long ship here is actually docked out. There's a further plank, so there's the port area, basically, and where it's walled off, and there's a lot of small fishing boats and such. Maybe a couple small merchant boats, but this boat is off to the side on this long dock where it's docked, on this long stone dock. So you guys make your way out there, and in front of the boat, you see a line of probably maybe 12 sailor types, maybe, look like they're young for the most part. Maybe the oldest you see is somebody maybe in their 30s, all standing with like a bag, and there's a little table, like a folding table, and a small bench, and you see this this man sitting there. He's dark tanned, really in the sense of probably been on the water a long time. Very tan, brown, probably middle aged in that sense, and he seems to be signing people up to asking them some questions.
Ship hands, possibly.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, hiring them to ship hands. But so you guys come running up. What do you do? And you see, most of these guys are boarding this large ship. There's this steel from the ship. There's this steel walkway that's docked off the dock that goes up. That's what's they're walking up. And it looks very strong, sturdy.
So we'll move up and get in line. How many people are in line?
By the time you guys get up there, there's 2 people in front of you.
Hey, how much they hiring?
Let's see.
What are they paying?
One. Get my dice up here. He's like, I think, from what I understand, the captain's pretty generous here on this ship. That the longer you stay on, the more of a share you get. He's more of he pays people by the share. Right?
Share.
Yeah.
Of the treasure.
Of treasure.
But so you sign on, you get jack shit at first, huh?
Yeah.
Do they feed you?
I'm hopeful because I don't have any food.
Looking at this guy, does he have? Just looking him up and down, does he have any weapons or anything?
No, he doesn't have any weapons on him at all, and he looks like he's dressed in some short brown pants and just a black type T-shirt on, human, and just has a small bag on him, probably maybe another set of clothes or something with him.
Does he
and
seem to have like a belt pouch that
no,
he might have his coins in?
no,
nothing.
Nothing.
Signing on because he's got nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
And okay, and what about the guy in front of him? Is he talking already?
Yeah, he's already talking now, and so you guys listen in. This guy goes, "This is the deal. You sign on, you get an 1/8 share of the treasure until the next port. If we feel like you're worthy and you want to stay on, then you'll go up to a 1/4 share, and so on. Depending, and if you stay on and I'd see as long as I have with the captain, you get a full share of the treasure. If you feel worthy, if you have any other skills that can be brought about, there's negotiations, of course, with the captain. And I would give me your mark here." And then one guy marks, and the other guy said, "Oh, I heard everything that you guys were talking to." He's like, "I'm marked," and he hustles on. He looks. This guy looks at you. Make a knowledge nature.
Okay.
Each of you can do that.
That would be useful.
Where would it be?
Under intelligence, knowledge.
No, nothing.
All right.
So we roll.
You still get to roll.
might be able to.
You might be able to. I'm giving you this one. Sometimes I don't. This one I'll do.
Okay, 14.
All right.
All right, and I got an 8.
All right. So he looks like a big. He's in the sense of height wise, sitting in this chair. He's maybe about 5 feet, if that. Very, very muscular. Bald skin, clean face, and as I said, and probably middle-aged. And a dark brown weathered skin, like he's been at sea for quite some time. You would also probably see some on his chest because he doesn't wear a shirt. He's shirtless, and you would see some scars, like he's probably been in some fights along the years.
What do they call you?
My name is the Hammer.
Not Joe, not Greg.
No,
The Hammer.
the Hammer.
What's the hammer for? The hammer? You smash things? This is
Maybe
really obvious.
you don't want to find out why they call me the Hammer. Are you guys interested in work? Do you have any experience on boats?
On boats?
Pretty sure a dwarf friend that we found out.
We've seen them.
All right. Are you running from the law here or something?
More or less.
All right. Well, that's
You're
your.
willing to get away from this port.
All right. Well, this is a deal.
She's good with a bow. I'm good with a crossbow, rapier.
No, so you have some fighting skills, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're looking for a couple of people to fill some spots that we lost actually very recently. So if you're interested, and you can, if you're in fighting capability, full share of the treasure.
Nice, nice. I'll
Now,
what do I got to do to prove my fighting capabilities?
don't worry, you'll get a chance to prove that sooner than later. But if you're both interested, just give me your mark here and come aboard.
Share of the treasure, share of the adventure, share of the glory.
That is correct.
What's the name of our ship now?
The Golden Plunder.
The Golden.
So-
Nice sound to it.
So as you guys now get a closer look at this massive thing, as you guys have it was in the morning, and you guys have been following it from behind, what you notice is that there looks to be there's 2 sections of oars on this side of the boat, and you assume probably on the other side. And probably 25 oar holes on each level. And it looks like there's a possibility that they could put in a 3rd level of oars. There's 2 masts. They're down right now. You can see that this iron plank, or really the bridge that comes down onto the thing, is actually part of the ship. Like it's attached to the ship. It's not part of the port here. Like they put it on. This is something attached to it. The back part of the ship, the starboard, the port side, back there is a blue where basically from where you're steering it, there's this blue canopy that covers that area. But other than that, the top level seems to be flat. And there's some bustling about. You see quite a few people bringing in, barrels and crates and sacks of flour. That's kind of going on, and they're just going right on.
No masts.
The masts look like they're down right now.
Okay, so there are
There are 2 masts. Okay. Yep, that's one center and one's at the very front of the ship. You also notice the very front of the ship that comes down, kind of squeaks down, is like made of copper. The whole thing, so like this thing could probably ram into other boats. This is not your standard pirate ship. This looks like a warship.
So that sorry son of a bitch that just signed up before me,
Yeah.
probably going to be down rowing for the whole.
Oh, he's got some experience actually sailing, so he'll probably work. So everybody rows, Everybody rows at one time.
Okay.
We'll learn. Even I row, and I'm the first mate. Even I row. When we're going into battle, or if we're running from some big ass sea monster, which we have done that, everybody's rowing, even the captain. So, well, at least when we're fleeing for our lives, which we've had to do. So, are you interested?
Interested. Hell yeah, I'm interested.
All right, then give us some
good.
marks.
How many men you got?
In all, the crew was 175.
How do you get that many people?
Well, the bottom level is kind of, well, each level is a little stacked, a little different. So we have 150 oarsmen in all. And then there's various crew members who do we have 10 people that handle the masts and the sails. You know, we have a couple of people that keep the drums going for the oars and such, and we have some warriors on board and such.
Like orcs down on the bottom or something?
You know, we have a couple orcs down there.
Couple of half-breeds, too.
Some of them at sword point, I'm guessing, because...
We saw the captain. So, in the sense of fair play, just so you know. So, and if you're not fine with this, I say, yeah, maybe you make your mark somewhere else. The captain, if we manage to maybe capture a ship, and the men don't give up, or at some point some men give up, and or the captain does buy slaves from time to time. But the offer is, for all of them, is that they row, and if they feel to become trustworthy and honorably, they can stay on as crew, get a quarter of the pay. If not, when we get to the next port, we let them go. The next port city. Well, the captain always doesn't let some fooleries, be left alone in some village or town that we might be kind of rowing into. But port city, we'll free some of the people down to the lowest decks is where we kind of keep some people. But they're chained up.
The price of failure.
Yeah, sometimes it's, but
you better know your match.
Well, like I said, the commander's got a light heart in the sense he'll buy slaves in the sense purely to free them after they've paid off.
Are we going to be the
debt.
only women on board?
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be different.
How many?
It's a lot of men.
Got a dwarf that might be a man.
He doesn't know. Yeah, he has to check that out. Yeah.
You'll assure that we're not going to be harmed in...
Lift your beard.
Captain
Better
doesn't.
not be checking it out.
Captain doesn't play those type of games at all. So there's none of that going on.
She takes her claw.
And to be honest, there's really nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
So
She just takes her claw, dips it in the ink.
all right. All right.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. Did you sign off your little E?
Your turn. You got your mark. Remember how to sign your name?
X marks the spot.
All right. So you signed, you go aboard, and
Pleasure to meet you, by the way.
nice to meet you. All right. So you guys go up on deck here, and there's a lot of hustle and bustle. But not too long after you guys get on, a couple minutes, maybe 30 minutes go on, and they seem to go. He comes on the last one. He comes back up with this foldable chair and little bench, and he says, "Raise the plank." And they crank this thing, this metal crank up. A couple of sailors crank that up, and then they kind of just push off with the oars, and then you hear, "Let's go, get him going there, Mikhail," and he looks back, and then you hear, all right, blood, Thailand, get them going. And you start just hearing dodong below, dodong, dodong, like drums going, and you start seeing the oars on the 2 levels just start rowing out. So, and you're on the top deck right now, and so what you'll see about, you'll see a lot of people taking what they brought up, like crates and barrels and such. They seem to be going low below the deck here of the ship here. And for the top part, it's all flat. There's a hole in the rear, and there's another hole in the front, and that seems like stairs where they're going down, bringing goods. And for the most part, yeah, you see some of the sailors starting to get the masts up, getting them going. You notice, you see this little gnome kind of look around, and is kind of just checking certain areas, of wood. He just kind of going around, and he disappears down below. And yeah, so, but for the most part, other than you two up above and a few other new faces that's still are trying to figure out what do they do, they get the ship going here. And then, like I said, the first mate's up there. The helms area, that you see this kind of crunched over figure. He's probably maybe 5'6", 5'8", in these blackish robes, and he has black gloves. You can't see his face, but he's the one steering the ship. He's beneath this canopy that's covered. So the back part of this is covered here, and so you guys head on out.
Nice.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
All right, so since he disappeared, let me have let's actually have Constitution. Roll a Constitution skill check, and Risna, you do the same.
All right. Well, okay.
Yep, just a Constitution. What's the total? 14 total.
What? Okay. What are we doing there?
Just purely, all I just want is a Constitution roll. So just this D20 plus your Con modifier.
What a great start. That was a 1.
Oh, so you're still unconscious then.
There we go.
Ozichar, can you give me a Constitution roll? Just add your modifier.
12.
12. All right. So, Dramire and Ozichar, you both awake to this cold, salty water splashed into your faces, and you feel the stings of your wounds from the salt water. You feel cold steel chains around your ankles and your wrists. You are seated on benches with oars in front of you. From the oar hole, all you can see is a massive amount of water above a wooden ceiling directly above your heads. You see men in front, behind, and across a small walking plank there's another set of rows going on, and you hear this beat of a drum, and then you hear, "You need to row, you maggots."
Can I pretend to sleep again?
And this large man with a femur bone of some poor humanoid walks down this row.
Perception check to sleep.
I start rolling.
Go ahead.
I just keep rolling.
Nope. 6.
Hey, I saw you twinge to your wounds. So both of you right now have 1 hit point plus your con modifier.
Wait. Okay, so I have 3 hit points. We both have 3 hit points.
And you both see in front of you two, so you're by yourself in this row. And so let's say it's Dramire is in the back, Ozichar, you're in front of him. Risna is passed out in front of you. But over on the opposite side, you see Oliver Rowan crying. You just see the tears coming down his face. And he's gagged. And so is
Because he
Dramire.
would eat everything if he
So-
wasn't gagged.
So both Dramire and Oliver are gagged, but you see the tears just going down Oliver's face.
What kind of human is it?
Make a knowledge nature check.
Wait, what?
All right, so you have no idea what this guy is or what bone, this femur bone of whatever he's holding.
Okay, I start rowing instantly.
All
As
right.
soon as he tells us to row, I see the bone and I'm like, okay, he's serious.
Can I speak to your boss? I don't think I'm supposed to be in change right now.
Oh, yes, you
Oh,
are.
no. I'm not supposed to be down here.
I'm your boss for right now.
Morgalog would not approve of this behavior right now. Of being
So
known
you-
about.
So you get a close look at him as he's, bends down and is talking to you. So he, brown skinned, bald, 5'8", muscle bound, no shirt on. And now you kind of think he might be a half-orc because he has this large, this lower right tooth sticking from his mouth. But he doesn't look as orcish.
Is he paler?
No, he's like darker skinned. He was brown skinned. But you can see that more of his human features probably than his orcish features, other than this nasty big old tooth sticking out of his mouth. And yeah, so he's talking to you.
We literally just got captured by you. What are you doing? Why would you want us down here? We're fighters. We want us up
You
top.
weren't captured by us. We purchased you.
Okay, then
You were
purchased
captured
us.
by orc slavers.
You may look like the people that captured us, so yes, that's what I'm saying. You captured us in that sense. I didn't know if they were coming back to their boat or your boat. Apparently, it's your boat. So can I
It's a
talk?
captain's boat.
Okay, then can I talk to your captain? Because obviously it's not your boat then.
What do you need to talk to the captain? I can talk to him.
About not rowing down here. Why would a great worshipper of Morgalog be down here rowing a boat when he's supposed to be off at war, bringing death to the foes of this world?
You're a worshiper of Margolab. What do you do?
What do? I
Yes.
kill people.
How do you kill people?
With a sword, a spear, an axe, a mace. Doesn't matter.
It seems like he's
So you're a fighter, warrior, mercenary,
I'm a warrior of
adventurer,
I'm a warrior of Morgalog.
a warrior Morgolab.
Yes.
Okay.
and he says a super.
I'm a warrior of Cordal.
All right. Cool. You like war. I like war, but I like more death than war. But
I don't like war. I just like beating on people. I like just crushing in skulls.
Okay, then you
That's-
should be
that's-
worshiping Morgalog.
That's how you
too.
can know me.
Let-
I'm the skull crusher.
Let me help you.
He pulls it out of his bone. He hits his hand with it. This is Skull Crusher.
Let me help you convert to Morgalog, because Morgalog loves beating down skulls and sending people to the
So you're a mercenary?
Yes, of course.
All right. I'll talk to the first mate about you.
And he tries to.
We're short a few mercenaries. We had an unfortunate accident recently, and so we're short a little warriors on our land raiding party.
And you hear Dramire
Maybe you
say,
can work it off. We'll see.
It's not my fault a damn dwarf doesn't know how to stay put until we're ready to do the attack.
And you hear.
So you're gay, buddy.
I know, but you're.
So behind, walking on this plank, just coming down the stairs now. Why don't you describe your character since you spoke up?
He's half elf, long dark hair and a ponytail. He's dressed in leather armor with two very nice short swords on his side. He's got a hooded cloak that has a couple of snake sigils on the side that hold it on, pin clips. Yeah, everything else of his clothing is either black or charcoal gray. And that's about all there is to it. He just looks like a normal, clean-shaven half-elf, I guess.
Yeah, so you, of course, you know this is Blogtar talking to him.
Right.
And Blogtar looks over at you and says, apparently he's spouting off that he's some sort of warrior mercenary. Maybe you can add him to your group. I also heard there's a couple on deck too. A couple females at that. One's a cat person.
Great.
And you're
Well, I've been with one menagerie before. I guess another one isn't going to be any different.
behind him, you see.
But for now, you roll. And he walks away.
And you see the person behind
Another
him.
deception check to wrap something around, wrap my chains around it. Just roll with that.
Those are
My
wrapped.
hands on it.
Okay, so you're not putting your hands on it.
So he's moving the or
My first
hands are moving.
message-
Your hands are moving because his hands are moving.
I'm doing all the heavy lifting.
My clean hands will not touch the
A
table.
perception check to notice that he's lazy as can be.
All right.
Oh, 5.
Okay,
So,
you don't see him.
you got the chains trying to, roll a little bit. All right.
Oh dear.
All right. Do you talk to him at all, or?
So what experience do you have?
You see
Killed some ogres, we killed some goblins and some kobolds, and traveled through the mountains.
So you're inexperienced. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Okay.
Morgulog loves me, but yeah.
Morgulog loves you. So you're a cleric?
No, I'm a warrior of Morgulog.
and you hear
Oh, so you're not like you don't cast any healing spells or anything like that.
you hear him trying
No,
to
not at all.
Yeah, you see him. You see the half of behind him trying to speak. He's gagged.
This guy.
Don't trust this god!
So, of course, you know standard operating procedure. If they think they're a spellcaster, they're gagged for a while until they know the rules.
Wait, what?
I'm not taking your gag off. Just roll.
You see him doing heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
I
Good.
mean, if you want to say I'm inexperienced, I did save a gnoll from captivity and trained him to be our comrade.
Before he died.
Never mind.
When you fought demons and befriended dragons and killed undead lizard kings,
Sure,
then you can
it
come
just,
back
it just
to me.
makes that look very small, yes, but in the sense that I'm unexperienced, I did tame a gnoll that fought for us.
Tamed and all.
Yeah, fought for us and killed for us, and it didn't eat us. So that my mind is a complete mission. I completed taming the gnoll.
You know gnolls aren't completely stupid, right?
Yeah, I
So
knew.
you
We had
didn't-
conversations. We had
Yes,
plenty
you
of
didn't tame
conversations.
him. He just decided that he wasn't going to eat you and that he was going to go alone.
But they're bloodthirsty, so it's kind of like I tamed them just
Yeah.
a little bit because like we didn't feed him one day, and like I thought he was going to eat us, and he didn't. It was a plus.
All right.
I'm sure it wasn't.
So, Blobtar comes back walking down.
Oh, you're back, friend. Skull Crusher.
I'm not your friend.
I said
You
you're
should-
back, not you're my
You should
friend.
go talk to the two women up above.
Women?
Yeah, they're apparently, he says that Carlsberg hired them on, and apparently they're joining your group.
What isn't a really pretty spellcaster with an attitude? Kind
Uh,
of ditzy?
I haven't seen them, to be honest. I was down here, but from what some of the guys have told me, is like one's a cat, and I don't know if the other one's
Oh, that's
an
your
elf
cat.
or like they're archers, crossbowmen. I don't know. But apparently,
Defensive JD.
apparently they have experience, and Carlsberg hired them on for your
He said he
group.
had experience too.
Well, we'll see about that. But right now, row.
Just
Got it.
doing a ton of heavy lifting.
All
Just
right.
like,
And he grabs a barrel of water, because the water comes in, as you notice, from where you guys are at. Some water does come in sometimes. And so he just grabs a bucket of water and fills it up and then throws it on Risna. And so Risna wakes up as burning from your wounds and such. And Risna, you have 1 hit point right now.
plus your.
No, just 1 hit point.
1 hit point.
1 hit point.
And am I tied to some oars or?
Yeah, so your feet, your ankles are chained and tied into the bottom of with a ring on the bottom of the ship. Then on your arms you have basically manacles. They're not attached to anything, just straight up manacles to your hand. And in front of you is a big oar. And you see behind you is Ozichar, and Dramire's behind him. And then across more further up in the front of the ship, you guys see Oliver, who's just keeps looking back at you guys, and this whole he's just crying and tears are coming down his face as he's trying to oar. You see he's just worn out already.
Well, you just see the drip.
And
I stand up and say, "Release me immediately."
so you try to stand up, but you hit this ceiling.
As short as you are,
He's a
Yeah,
dwarf.
yeah, I know. It's not a high ceiling at all. So yes, you
So I'm pretty
stand
much
up.
crouched. I'm pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah,
crouched
you're
on the ground.
crouched. Yeah. So you stand up quickly. Release me. You hit your head on the,
Knock yourself out again.
and you just kind of put yourself down like a little woozy.
Oh, I'll go down. I'm gonna fall on the ground and use that opportunity to start looking at my feet manacle connection.
Yeah, another dwarf that
All right.
that acts before he thinks.
And so now this.
He, she, I don't know. They've all got beards.
All right. So now
Just
this.
calm down, Risna. I got this under control. Don't let them know you're a female. this like I said, this half-orc here, this one-tooth half-orc, walks up and down with this femur bone in his hands. This is the rules, maggots. Listen up. You follow the rules, you live, you'll be rewarded. Have you talked to the boss yet?
Do you want me to knock you out right now?
Nope.
Then listen to the rules. Rules are simple. When it's your turn to row, you row the boat. And you row, and you row, and you row until you're allowed to sleep or eat. That is it. When we get to the next port city, and you're still alive, hopefully you are, unless you run into Skull Crusher here, by back-talking me, you'll be offered your freedom. Captain's very fair man. He'll set you free. You paid for your services for right now. In the next port city, whenever that port city might be, we could be at sea for a month or two before we hit another port city. But when we do, you'll be free. You'll also be offered to stay on board for a quarter share of the treasure. Any treasure that we acquire, whether it's from raiding or taking another ship, then once we sell it,
It's not.
hey, zip it.
I don't even listen to him.
Shut up, orc.
I kick him.
Says
Once he tries
the
to,
gang dwarf.
hey, once he turns back, I kick him in his foot. Once he tries to turn back, I kick him.
You can't even reach it.
Move.
Yeah, you try to kick them with your feet. Their shackles go, nope, you're not going far.
Yes.
If you have any skills of note worthy, I understand we have 2 spellcasters. It looks at
Dramire and looks over at Oliver, and
Dramire.
Oliver
It's
just
Dramire.
kind of drops his head down.
It's
Spit on the
Dramire.
Dramire, well, he doesn't know your name.
Oh.
He just looks at you two, Dramire. So he looks at you two. If you guys have some skills worthy that you can think you can, and you want to be part of this crew, well, you can be out of these chains much sooner. If you notice, about half the people down here are chainless. They have joined the crew already, and they get a quarter share of the treasure. You stay on board, you move up to the next level. A little bit more comfortable. You get to share a hammock and such. But everybody, when we need to row the boat, rows the boat. Except me. I don't row the boat. Neither does Tyler. And then you see stepping off as they stop. Right now the rows come in. There's no drumming. And you see this crouched down, this minotaur. Crouched down. And he has this crude sword off to his side. And he's missing his left horn. But yeah, his minotaur, he's scarred up from who knows how many fights or where he's been fighting.
You guys are the two right-horned brothers, aren't you?
Oh, I would slap him if I could. I would slap him if I could. You are
All right,
stupid.
so he comes and just cranks you, knocks you out.
Are you sure our intelligence scores on Switch? Because I think he has my 13 for intelligence.
He's
If
pretty
you-
good. He's probably got closer to us.
And if you talk like that, you're gonna learn a lesson like that.
Huh.
Hey,
I'm wrong.
Half-Orc, you make sure you tell him. Actually,
You can't tell
dwarf,
him anything.
I would
when that
slap him.
thing wakes up, tell him the rules. And possibly, if you stay on board, you can go to the top level, get your own hammock. You don't have to share a hammock anymore, and such. Or down below deck with most of us. We have our own hammock. Yeah. Now, get back to rowing. Try them off. Start up the drum. And they get back to
And
rowing.
you just see the
And
power
I'll go
roll.
You'll go upstairs. Yeah.
I'm smiling.
Yeah.
I'm doing heavy lifting. You just see me power roll.
Yeah, the same thing. The only time you ever row is at the very top level, and that's when you guys are going to either ram a boat or chasing a boat or running from a boat or
And
sea
I'm a
monster.
navigator, so.
So you've been learning that from as well. You take time in that with shifting off with Mikhail. So you'll see those two standing around kind
They're
of.
just standing around. They're not rowing.
No, they're not wrong. No. And then you'll see,
Oh, they're hired on.
yeah,
No.
So- yeah, like you're the only time like you row or any of your former guys row.
You're right.
was in purely in situation. So yeah, you come up and you see them standing around. The first mate Carlsberg comes up. Hey, let me introduce you to these two. These two are gonna join your boarding or your landing party.
What's your name?
Alex, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it is. What's your name?
Eryn.
Hello, Eryn. Hello, Alex.
Uh,
I'm Collin. You do your job. You do what you're told to stay alive. If you don't, you'll end up like the last guys that went out with me. Did their own thing and got killed. Hill giants, dwarves think they can just take them on any day of the week. You got a cot?
I don't know.
Haven't been told.
That'd be down in your area, down in the galley
Nah.
area, down by your area.
Let's go down. We'll find you guys a place to sleep. Gals, a place to sleep. You will sleep in a hammock, right? You don't need to curl up on a pillow or something somewhere.
That sounds great.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I've seen it all. Trust me.
All right, so he takes you down below deck, and so you'll see how it goes. So as I said, the top part is purely flat. There's no oars. The second, once you kind of go down, there's this area beneath the top ceiling where there's a bunch of rows, but they're all, and so it's open. There's spots where you could either put oars out. There's oars laying on the floor across this whole floor. And there's some hammocks as well. Some of them, you might be a couple guys sleeping in them right now and such. But they're open where you could even shoot, missile weapons out or whatever, do anything. As well, like I said, the whole top floor is just flat, other than a rail on the side, so you don't go over.
Gotcha. But not covered.
Not
so much.
Yeah, not covered at all, other than the one canopy.
Okay.
That's it. But this
There's
one,
no stern castle?
nope, no stern castle. Nope.
But there's White Castle.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a just long warship. And you of course know that it's from the Gnorian Empire. So you know that. The next level is you see a bunch of benches, and this is another set of row. None of these guys are chained, but they're rowing right now. It's individual benches, individual rowers, 25 on each side rowing. And then you go to the next level. This is where, and it's pretty comfortable, the second level. The third, but there's, and also the top where there's rows, there's no seats. Like, these guys are hardcore rowing. You have experience at doing it. There's just a notch to put the oar in, but there's no seats. And these guys, most of the guys that do that are strong. They're the most experienced guys on the ship. The next part, you'll see Alexianna and Eryn. You'll see tighter space, not have much space to even stand. And this is where you'll see Dramire. Ozichar was knocked out to the side, like just crunched over. You'll see Risna kind of looking at the floor, probably looking at the chains, because you do see them that their ankles are chained, and then the chain wraps to this tight little knot on the floor, and then their hands are chained together. And yeah, up front to the left, you'll see Oliver up there as well. But you also notice probably about 30 of the people down here don't have chains on. But for the most part, a lot of these guys look ragtag. It's a mix of races, mainly human. You see some maybe half-orcs, maybe an orc, hobgoblin and such that are rowing here. What's also you notice now is you see this this minotaur, and he's banging with the drum, and then on the other side is another drum, and they're basically going in unison. And on this drum there is a half-orc. I mean, but he doesn't look half-orc other than this big tooth sticking out. But very dark-skinned. Both of them are shirtless, have a lot of scars on them. And then you go beneath that, and this here now opens up into the galley. It's low. There's all the foodstuffs. There's barrels and such, but then there's a bunch of hammocks about here as well. I wouldn't say a bunch. Probably about 20 in all, maybe even less than that. And this is where you have your area where you're meant, so you have an area for like 8 in all. And you notice this rather small person. You're not sure what he is. Why don't you go ahead and describe your character?
All right, the creature. Who's looking at him?
It would be Alexianna and Eryn. Collin already knows you, of course.
Okay. All right, the creature before you is hands down the ugliest you've ever seen. Possibly a halfling or a gnome, but it's difficult to tell. On his scalp is a small 1-inch patch of gray hair. One of his eyes is larger than the other, bulbous. His body is somewhat malformed, However, what makes him even more unusual is that he's dressed in trendy, multicolored clothing, and his skin glistens with sparkles. The troll's turd sprinkled pixie dust is the closest comparison that comes to mind.
The hell are you, a mongrel man or some shit?
Could be.
Underneath all that, you sense a glimmer of charm and cheerfulness. A feeling of pity overwhelms you a bit.
So it's a charming turd. Glitter all over it.
He's just over 3 feet tall. His gait is awkward and uncoordinated, and he seems to be about maybe 40 pounds. You have no idea how old.
But we know it's a he.
Oh yeah, you know. Yeah, he would know. Collin knows.
But no, like beard or anything.
Nope, no beard. The only hair you see on him is a small 1-inch patch of gray hair on his head.
Gotcha.
And it's a little bit long, and it's kind of sculpted stylishly.
Oh my god.
Anybody upstairs?
Hello.
Huh?
Are you the new people?
I think my wife and yeah.
Are you the new people?
We are.
Welcome aboard. I'm Rickus.
He's
My friends call me Handsome Rickus.
Hold on 1 second. Well, Alexia stepped upstairs to get food, I believe. 1 second.
Rickus, anyways.
I'll be your. Once you get to the rows, I'll be your motivation. I'm the relief drummer. Really, I'm the only drummer here with any talents.
Relief drummer.
The Minotaur and the Orc, they just pretend they're beating on skulls when they're up there playing the drums. So,
Is this the one I just
I've got some rules for you later. We'll go over them.
Rules.
Now,
Must dance when I play.
You're an elf, aren't you?
you must laugh whenever I play.
All right.
We'll go over those when it's time for me to drum. Okay?
Wait 1 sec. I'm just waiting for Alexianna to come back downstairs.
And a dinosaur pops out in the water.
I break off the chain. And I go, cute.
Row, people, row.
All right. So
You
you've
go
met
pounce on a rat.
you've met Handsome.
Handsome.
Handsome is his name?
All right. And so you guys will settle down there. And in the evening, of course, Handsome, you take over in the drumming department. And at this time, Ozichar will wake up. And Risna, what are you trying to do? Just
He's gonna play the drums for him, but he's got to go over the rules with them.
oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll have you do that. With you'll come up for the evening. So and you guys know in the evening you guys only use about a quarter of the oars rowing. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so he once everyone's on the oars, he'll walk down the aisle. He's dragging 2 like giant clubs behind him. And he starts to climb up the drums. It takes him about 2 minutes to get to the top of them. And he's literally standing on top of the drums that he's going to be playing. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Plunder. You'll have fun rowing for days. You've got everything you had. And now we know your names. We are the people that can find you wherever you may flee. So if you get to running, Sonny, we've got... What? Disease? Lenny, have you been changing my notes again? I told you disease does not work. Anyways, the captain makes me read these things to you. So, if you need anything, just come see me. I'm the only one that's nice on the ship. So anyways, row. They start playing.
All right.
Dramire. Dramire.
All right. And so his unlike when the Minotaur and the Half-Orc are drumming, it's just purely just pounding just to keep the rhythm. Handsome's drumming sounds very soothing. Like you guys just you're just rolling at ease. Your muscles get a little bit more relaxed. You're not as intense as you've been. It's a lot easier with him rowing. But at that night, this dark-skinned man that and you guys are sleeping or whatever. This happens just for those guys. Where are you going?
Oh,
I'm going to talk to you. No, I'm coming to you. So this bald, tan skinned, middle-aged man comes down to you, and he just shakes his head.
What's up? Hello, how are you? You captain? Did Numbnuts finally come talk to you?
I wouldn't call Skull Crusher numbnuts to his face.
They're the right hooked brothers, so it's pretty funny. Then they knocked me out for it. Just trying to create some comedy for the rowers down here that don't get a joke very often, I feel like.
Well, they'll be fearful if they actually takes the skull and crushes it later on.
Yeah, it's very true. That would be a bad thing to happen, but he'd be killing an innocent man.
I'm the first mate. I understand. The Skull Crusher told me that you have some fighting skills.
Yeah, I'm a great warrior of Cordal.
I know it as a kind of point to myself.
Look, if I untie your,
I wouldn't trust him.
You
He's a half-orc. We just freed him. He still gave me our trust. So
okay, then I'll leave him
yeah,
dead.
No.
I saw him do some weird stuff with his hands, and it was all bad.
I point to him and I said.
So, all right, we'll leave him. So he joined your group. Are you guys mercenaries or
Me and
what?
the dwarf are, yes.
What about that fat thing up there?
He ran away because we killed too many goblins.
Okay, all right.
It happened.
He's a wizard.
He's a scary like he shoots food at people and it hurts them. But like, yeah, he's a wizard.
Does he have any other skills?
Eating. I feel like that's why you gagged him. I thought he tried to eat the ore, so like, is that the reason why you gagged him?
No.
No,
We gag spellcasters.
that makes sense. I thought you guys just gagged him because he had teeth, so I figured he could maybe bite through the ore and break it too. So yeah.
So, Captain, normally this is
to
usually we have somebody in these positions rowing is down here and have you in chains for
yes.
at least he's shaking his head again. Like a month or so. But we're kind of short on
I'm still pointing.
on some of our landing party, and we're going to come up here briefly to an island in about 2 days, and we need to have a landing party, an advance party, I should say, go forward to scout something out for us. So
He still looks
if
at
we
points to himself.
You employ us? Yes.
yeah, if we employ you,
Who would we be going with? Just us three?
no. We have some others as well. We have
Other
somebody in
trustworthy
charge.
people? Yes, of course. I mean, you don't want to put the slave that you just captured out back. That would just be stupid. Obviously, you guys aren't stupid. Well, regular might be, but
He's pretty smart. He's lived a long time.
But Dramire's still pointing to himself like.
I trust that half-orc and minotaur, as you say with my ally.
Well, I would trust the Minotaur too, but the half-orc, I don't know.
Now, he's
Might
trustworthy.
trade you for a steak at the T-bone, but
No.
I'm still pointing at my hill as I'm roaring powerfully.
what do you guys need us to do? Just scout out? Is that what you said, or we just go kill
We
something?
have-
and
we
find
have-
something?
We want to scout. We're looking for something on an island,
A gem, a book.
a house.
How would you want to house your pirates?
It's not our house. Somebody lives there in the house.
Well, yes, of course. Somebody does live in the house right now, but you wouldn't need me to look for the house if it was your house.
Right. Somebody else's house.
Yes, so what do you want in this house?
We want to have conversation with the person that lives in the house.
Well, that sounds okay, but like...
Your job wouldn't be to go into the house. Your job wouldn't be to talk to the people.
Talk to the people or hurt the people in the house? That's
No,
good.
all it is just find where the house is.
Because when I find an idiot in the house, I just want to kill him. I don't want to talk to him ever, so that's a good idea. Just find the house. So
I'm
like,
pretty sure this person in this house could kill you.
so, sure, maybe. I mean, I don't know whose person the house is. But yeah, sure, me and the dwarf can just be protection for the group that wants to go find this house.
All right.
I'm
so
still
you're,
pointing to myself.
your blades. What about him?
Yeah, we can bring him along. If we can keep him chained up, though, please, that would be
I say
perfectly fine.
no. I say
The gag, we can remove the gag, but keep the chains on because it was very nerve-wracking having a half-orc with us.
And what about you?
Especially after I insulted one of his half-orcs already.
And what about you? You haven't said anything, my fellow dwarf.
Fine.
She's an angry dwarf. I think all males are,
but I'm still like.
I don't know if it's because you can't tell between guys and girls, but
he's trying.
she's always angry, running into battle right away.
He points to the gag like he won't. Like he points to the gag, so like he's rolling powerfully. You see him rolling.
I'm working.
Everybody else is sleeping, but he's rolling the oral by
Well,
himself.
there's about a quarter of the people rolling.
Yeah, but the power, like you just see him strong.
Power.
Massive build, man.
By the power of Grayskull.
I'd like to see that.
Well, I'll talk to the captain in the morning, and if he says it's fine, and we'll unchain the three of you. Well, the two of you.
And I say no.
This one into the
I
party.
say.
You shake your head no. Do
No,
you want to come
I say
with?
yes. I say yes.
Oh, so
but
it's a no, yes. Okay.
then I say yes. So you're going like this. I'm going like
All
this. I'm going like this.
So he wanders up to Oliver, and he leans over. So I'm gonna take this jag off, but no spells. Because if you try to do a spell, I promise you, I will whip my hammer, and your face will be out the ore hole. So he takes the gag off. He says, "What?
Have you any biscuits?
I
Just a
don't.
crumb.
I don't have any biscuits on me. No.
You
But-
see this fat bill
Please
slowly.
stay away. I need food.
Well, can you cook?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And you can do spells making food? Your friend back there said you can do
I
that.
could make it taste better.
All right. Well, your rowing is worth a shit. At least that's
Of
what
course,
Tyler
because
said.
I'm much better in the kitchen. Is there something that you need me? I could cook for you. I could. Oh, I could make you a feast that you would never want to eat from anyone else's cooking again. I can guarantee it.
All right. Well, Nat needs some help because the last the other cook that we had, he ended up deciding that he had made enough loot from us that he decided to retire. So we have an opening spot in the kitchen if you'd like it.
Oh, I would love it. That would be perfect.
All right, I'll introduce you to Nat, and so he'll take the chain. He pulls out a key and unlocks your chains.
Of course, you
and-
trade against us again. Damn it, Jesus! You let him go first. You let him go up there first.
Watch,
still-
watch that one. He's not very trustworthy.
See what I mean? He's calling me untrustworthy when he calls
Hey,
him untrustworthy.
hey.
Now
I
the dwarf
nod
you
my
can
head.
trust.
Okay.
I nod my head.
What about the half-orc?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Never seen him before. He wasn't with our party when I was with them last. They just got a hold of that one. I have no clue. And that's what I don't understand. They'll kill poor little goblin children and women, but they'll bring something like that into their own party. They're just He's crazy. Oh, not that one. Oh, no. Ooh, a little nuts.
See, he's called me into
All right. Well, we'll have to see. I'll see how Collin deals with him. So he'll take you down below the galley, and you'll walk past. You'll see Alexianna and Eryn actually in hammocks sleeping. You know, they're exhausted because they've been running their ass off.
Oh, there's 2 more from our party. How come they're not in chains?
He looks. Well, I hired them on, so all of them were part of your group, huh?
Yeah, they're all
That's-
together.
That's good to know.
You're stupid.
Love to be of help to you.
That's great to know. All right, so then he'll bring you to
Bye,
the
Alex.
You wake
passed
up
out, just passed out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe when she wakes up.
Yeah, and so they'll bring you off, and so there's only 2 areas in here that actually have doors, and one's in the rear of the ship, behind the stairs, and in the front area, and there's a small area, is the kitchen, and in there's this halfling, and he's sleeping, but Carlsberg will wake him up and say, "Hey, Four Fingers, wake up!" And it's this little halfling. And
No, you're
Obviously not good at cutting up the vegetables.
He's a successful rogue.
and he says, "Nat, I have somebody here new that his name's what's your name again? Oliver?
Yes.
Oliver, and he's gonna cook with you, show him the ropes and everything."
and then you use them in your salad.
And so Oliver now will start cooking with Nat, making food and such. So all right. The next morning
I'm an Oliver, right?
comes and Skull Crusher comes and undoes your chains, Risna, and undoes your chains, Ozichar, and undoes your feet chains.
And then I pick him up by his arm.
No, you can't
Let's
pick
go.
me up.
I grab you.
Yeah, but you
lead
can't
this
pick
way.
me up. He says I pick him up. No, you
He
don't.
says, "Follow me upstairs."
Oh, okay.
And also, you two are drawn up as well as Collin.
Yeah.
So, basically, Carl, you were told Carlsberg wants to talk to all of them. And so, Carlsberg, standing there, like I said, he's probably about maybe 5 feet. Stocky, well-built, brown skin, bald. Risna, now it's kind of daylight and stuff. Give me an intelligence check. At advantage.
Alright, 1 second. Am I coming through okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect.
Okay, cool.
I need to get the bathroom
That's
before
pretty
and
good.
join him again because he's been like nice.
Yeah. Alright, I'm stupid though. 17.
Oh, that's great. 17's perfect. You realize that Carlsberg here is a dwarf, except he has no beard,
What?
no hair whatsoever. He's completely bald. His facial, like there's no even stubble, and even on his because he's shirtless, there's not a single piece of hair on him at all. But you realize, yeah, he's a dwarf. Even though he's brown skinned, but you think, yeah, he's definitely battle hardened and is in his middle ages for a dwarf. In that
I'll keep that to myself.
Yeah, I just want to let you.
She's singing to herself, yuck, no hair.
Exactly.
Oh, dwarf. Yeah.
So from what I've learned is that you guys, the maybe 4 or maybe 5 of you are friends. Collin, I guess we purchased these 3 from the orc slavers, and these 2 I hired on. But apparently they all know each other. So, and we understand there's Ozichar here, and I guess it's Risna. Is that right?
Yeah, that's risen up there.
You guys are warriors.
Yes.
Along with them,
Are you guys warriors?
Oliver already told me that you guys knew each other.
Shit.
I nod.
I knew it. You traded on us and everything.
I nod. I'm like, yes, I'm the honest one.
Yes, we're great warriors. She don't even hear honest out of your mouth.
Yeah.
They're still gagged. Yeah, they're good warriors too.
And this one's not to be trusted.
Not a great warrior, nope. Who are you pointing at? Are you talking about him?
I'm pointing at
Hold it.
first.
Can somebody else talk besides the loudmouth?
I'm pointing to her.
So
I'm
you
pointing to my
definitely
boyfriend.
mentioned his one trait that sticks out a lot. He opens his mouth.
Probably the only thing that sticks out.
This one,
I'm trying
the
to.
only reason we would say that he's not trustworthy is that we haven't known him long enough to determine whether he's trustworthy. But
What does he do?
What does he do?
I'm a
He
healer.
says he's a healer.
He
He says
heals.
he's a shaman of some sort. I don't know.
He didn't even know who he was worshiping when we found him.
That's true. That was out of game.
I listened to it. I heard. I understand. I know.
That was out of game content.
Yeah, you're a recent convert.
That was out of game content. That was out of game content.
I converted him just like I'm trying to convert Skull Crusher down at the bottom. But
Yes,
it's a work in progress.
he definitely is an excellent warrior, as well as Risna. And there was another that was with us that disappeared while we were.
Yeah, he just walked off. He walked off into the mist and
I know.
never saw him
One
again.
was trying to convert everything to or destroy all the evil of the world.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
With the weird hat and the grumpy face.
Grumpy face.
Grumpy face.
So grumpy cat. Grumpy cat.
Mr. Grumpy Face.
But if you're talking about who can you trust,
I don't trust anybody until you prove it to me.
yeah. But I don't know much about this guy.
Well, then
We
it's
know
time
that
to,
he.
then it's
he-
time to find
he
out.
betrayed his
Collin
own-
goes and ungags him. Looks over at you.
Oh yeah, so
It's
actually,
okay.
actually, it's like a key thing. So actually,
Oh,
he'll go Carlsberg will go behind and unlock this thing and take it out of your
Thank
pocket.
you. He says thank you.
You still got your hands chained though.
all
No,
right.
I don't care.
Speak for yourself.
Yes, I am a healer of sorts.
Of sorts.
I'm a healer of Morgulok.
Healer of Morgulok.
A
Oh, they
shaman.
got rid of that.
Metal chain gag.
Isn't Carlsberg's isn't Morgulok like the god of death or something?
Yup, and he's
Yeah.
the healer of it. Don't worry, I converted him. It's all good. He heals just fine.
I'm a shaman, more or less, but
Yeah, I wouldn't be my first run in with somebody.
So-
yeah. Okay.
There's an idea. If he's a good healer, we've yet to see him
Well,
do
that
much.
that there is an oxymoron.
Yeah.
A good healer of Morgul.
We've yet to see him heal anyone.
I've healed.
Well, so maybe some of these wounded, like Risna, looks like she's in a lot of pain.
All right, show your healing. Heal the door.
Okay, I cure wounds.
All right,
Well, like I lift my hands up a little bit and cure wounds.
all right.
So she gets 6 points back.
No, not on me. I pushed him away. Get away from me.
Told you we couldn't trust him.
Really, dwarf?
We don't
You're
trust
you're gonna free healing and you're not gonna accept it?
Yeah, that right. Get away from me.
Well, this isn't gonna work.
Well, if you don't like the he's Carlsberg speaks. Well, if you don't like the half-orc, I don't know what you're gonna think about Grugs. He's our shaman.
Then can I heal myself? Because I'm pretty messed up too. Or him.
Why you heal Ozichar?
Okay.
So those points go.
So as he does that, I
Alright.
want to touch myself too with lay of hands.
I
Say a
did
prayer to Morgulok at the same time.
Here, whisper these words with
All right.
I don't. I just said.
Okay,
I said
so
Morgulok.
you'll heal up the 6 plus.
plus 15.
All right.
So 21 points.
Oh, you are a good healer.
Yeah.
Woo! I wish you would have done that during the battle.
All right. Very impressive.
Yeah, I hate.
All right.
All right. So this
He is
is
untrue.
Here's the deal.
this is the deal. Collin needs a group to go with them, 2-boat crew. You guys are going to go into some swamplands on this island, and you have to find this house in the swamp.
A swamp again.
All we want you to do is find the house.
Try to escape one.
Once you find the house, do any of you have tracking abilities? Good in the YouTube. Perfect.
She's excellent.
All right. Perfect.
I'm not.
What we need you to do is find this house, locate it, remember where it's at, and then come back to the ship.
That might be the hard part. You gotta leave that one up to Collin.
Yes, Collin's in charge. Collin's
That
in
was not a
charge.
reason to remember, so that was just a
What
bad
do we,
thing
what do
to-
we know about this area, Captain?
We don't know squat.
show.
We don't know anything about this island.
You don't know
The
what.
captain knows of the island and knows who lives there,
Wait.
and he wants to have a discussion with her.
So you don't know what's on the island, what type of creatures are on
Oh
the
no,
island.
we don't know what kind of creatures are on the island. We know a
But-
witch
But
lives
you know that the witch
in
can
the
kill
house.
us too. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Captain wants to have a conversation with this witch.
Awesome. When do we start? Tomorrow morning?
And another day from now.
Awesome.
Give you guys enough time to heal up, rest up.
Maybe convert Skull Crusher to Morgologism
I doubt that he's worship
for
Cordal.
no reason because he doesn't even like war. But yep, we'll see about that.
He is a former gladiator.
Did he win that?
Bilbo, can you
game
clarify,
off
do we have our
of Uber or
stuff?
something?
All you have is your armor. All your stuff that orcs took.
Wait, do we have any shield?
Shit, that's
Shield at all?
Well, the only thing I've got, I think I have
You have your stuff.
3
Yeah.
longbows and some other whatever that we had from the freaking.
Little orc.
Yeah, you two have your stuff, but
Wait, do you have the
those
wolf?
3 have none of your stuff.
I don't.
So
Because I know I lost my hammer in it.
we can give you guys weapons, whatever you use. I'm sure we have on hand.
Whoa.
Alright, that sounds just fine to me. We're gonna get healing potions just in case this guy, I don't know, doesn't know how to actually heal at the end of the day. This power runs low one of these times.
He looks over. We'll have Collin have 2 of them.
Alright, cool.
So Collin write down 2 healing potions. Because
Your lights?
yeah, cure lights. Yeah. Cure whatever. Not lights.
Yeah, I know.
So this
Have
is
2
supposed
healing
to be-
potions.
So I'll need a longsword, a morning star, a battle axe, and a hand crossbow with 30 bolts.
Yes.
That's what asking a little bit.
All
I
right.
just need a
Well,
warhammer
we're
and a
going up to
shield.
the swamp,
Okay.
so we don't know what we're going to
Oh, yeah.
encounter.
And the shield, of course.
Risna, what do you need?
We don't even
Yes.
know where we're going. We have to try and find it. Are there any
Magical Dwarven War Axe, please.
Sorry, that's not gonna happen. So a war axe will be fine.
Are there any more?
Dwarven War Axe, yes.
Where we go on shore? Is there any kind of a village or anything we can get any information on how to get there?
This island is deserted. It's this witch's island.
Okay.
No, there is.
So there's nobody to ask any directions from. We don't have any kind of map at all to go by.
We're gonna go into where the area into the river where the river goes into the swamp, and just follow into the swamp.
A person can get lost in a swamp real easy. Trust me, I know.
Well, I understand, but that's the risk.
All right.
So this will be the deal. This mission is a non-treasure mission. There is no loot unless you find something along the way. The way it works is that if for you guys, you'll get an equal share, 1 share of treasure when we
Full
get
share?
stuff. Huh?
1 full share?
1 full share.
Alright.
If you guys work for us. If you guys, after when we get to another port city, and if you guys choose not to stay with us, there's no hard feelings. You can part ways, get off on the port city, and be fine.
This could be a good job for us.
For a while.
But if you want to stay on, great. You're under the protection of the Golden Plunder. Now we do insist that if we're in, you guys will not have to row the boats at all. We do want you guys to learn how to row and get some experience doing it. You won't be under chains anymore. You said he undoes your hands. He takes your hands off.
Thank you.
Now, if you betray us at all on this ship, I promise my hammer will be finding your face the first thing. So you won't be able to cast a spell. You won't be able to utter any words because all your teeth will be on the deck. Got it?
Got it.
The captain is really fair, honest, good guy. I've been with him since the beginning.
And I
Talk
both
about
got a
slavery thing.
And there's a slavery thing. Look, you guys are already been in chains one day.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't even really a slave. I didn't even know. What's up?
So less than on that bottom deck, less than half the people are in chains, and more will be freed from those chains in the days to come. That's just more of our safety than anyone else's. And if they choose not to stay on, as I said, no harm. We usually give them a quarter of it or an eighth of the treasure when we let them go in the next city. So they at least aren't broke going into a city.
So what's the deal with the treasure then? You say this is not a treasure thing except for anything we find, but anything we find is...
Now, if you find something on the way, bring it back and we
We'll
will
add to the
just
pot.
keep added to the pot. Basically, anything that we get, we just store down below. Anything really valuable goes in the captain's room, and then we sell whatever we sell off in the next port city, or maybe in some of our towns that we go to, some safety areas. We'll sell that stuff off, and then we give shares to everyone.
So, am I taking Rickus with?
You know what? Yeah. Why don't you take Rickus with?
At least then I'm not alone with these guys.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. He might not like it. But
Who's Rickus?
he'll
Remember the soothing drum beats at night?
Yeah.
That's Rickus.
Oh, I almost fell asleep to that. I don't know. I mean, I might sleep on the road.
Well, since you'll be rowing, I'm sure you won't have time to sleep.
And Rickus has some healing powers too. So. All right. So, and he'll say that for you guys, Collin, you can show them your area down below, and that's where they can bunk now.
All right.
So.
We'll go. Well, at least I know that you've all worked together before. So that at least will be something.
Can I stay in the right hook's quarters?
Dwarf, you're not going to charge into battle when
The right hook's
when we're trying to scout, are
The
you?
right hook.
Yeah.
That's how the last group ended up.
He sleeps down
We
when
had a
you're
dwarf that
sleeping.
always ran into battle and didn't think first. Dwarf? Did you even hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you.
You didn't answer.
Nope.
Oh dear. Captain, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Well, you know, this ain't the captain. This is
Oh.
the first mate.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't met the captain. They haven't seen
Oh,
the
okay,
captain.
you still got it. Okay.
So yeah, he hasn't made himself present.
All right.
All right. So other than that, unless you guys are doing anything, you guys will heal up. You guys will meet Handsome.
Wait.
This is what
I get to see the ship.
Your name's Handsome?
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you're very small and ugly. Who's attracted to you?
I'm a.
What are you gonna do? You want your jaw gone?
Nope, I go like, and sucks it down.
What?
You suck it
No,
down.
wait for your
What?
Nothing.
I wheel my arms around and I go.
I go like this, and I go like.
Skull Crusher, can you teach this guy some manners? I don't think he learned it at his old orc camp.
I didn't do anything.
All right, so what do you guys get any need for equipment? You have to figure out what you need so we can get it out of storage.
We already have.
I suppose we'll need.
Shield, long sword, morning star, battle axe, hand crossbow, 30 bolts,
He ain't giving that one.
30 foot of rope, a couple torches.
Well, he really wants a lot.
I only.
What was the first thing you
Alright.
said?
Uh,
A shield. We
shield.
can get you that.
Everything you mentioned that you have.
All right.
Yeah, shield and warhammer. That's all I need.
You got a dwarven war axe?
Yeah, they do actually. He did. He gets you one. He does. He'll Carlsberg will bring you one.
Can you see in the dark, little fella? With the patch on his head? Can you see in the dark? Like, darkness. It's not dark for you.
If we have a torch, yeah.
So the answer is no.
No.
So, how about you ride on the half-orc's back, and then you won't have to be able to really see much because you'll just be beating the drums on his head, and like his head could be just where you put the drum, and just start beating on his drum while we walk.
I did.
Because we don't want you. We're gonna be walking through the swamps, and we don't want you getting stuck in the swamps.
I've never been off the ship. Is that what you normally do?
Yeah, for like little people, it's what you do so that you don't get stuck by the
He's a
swamp.
liar, first of all.
Okay, that sounds fun. I'll do it.
All
No,
right.
he's a liar, and he's not going on my head. Those are the two things. So.
What, Shaman? You are here for the betterment of the group.
Yeah, I know.
And
All right. So everybody needs the backpack and some food and some rations and stuff. So we're gonna do.
So we're not expecting.
You talk to when you talk to Carlsberg about rations. He's like, no, it shouldn't be. The island's not that big, so you probably be able to find this within a half a day or less.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a small island, but it's
All right.
you're just gonna have to go through the swamps on a couple. You'll go through on a river, and then up the river you'll go into swamps. But we'll have a couple of rowboats for you guys.
All right.
Collin, are you a caster?
No.
I could have told you by the way he talks.
No, I'm not.
As he walks away.
I'm a rather agile fighter. We'll just say that.
All right.
Decent studded leather armor. Like I said, 2 short swords and a crossbow on his back. Flail on his side.
And I say you're never running on my head. To the halfling. To the halfling.
She's kind of looking at the 2 short swords, the crossbow. And she's got 2 short swords and a crossbow, and she sees the flail and goes,
Wait, what?
Skeletons.
see
All right.
seeing the
All right. So
What about the fat man? Is he coming with us?
no, Oliver, no.
No.
He's crying while he's cooking.
The fat man's gonna stay and cook for the captain.
I gotta go talk to the fat man. All right, Collin.
I guess. We got time before we're going, I guess, till we get there. Go ahead.
Does he show me there? Can I go there?
Yeah. He'll show you. He could just point. He'll just
I'll
point you
up
a door.
I'll point to the door up front and say, "Go up there." He's on the other side of that door.
Oh, wait, just
Are
don't
you
get.
gonna-
Are you
just
gonna
don't
punch
get-
him in the face?
Just don't get into Four Fingers' way.
I don't think so. Not unless I have to.
Can I watch if you do?
Please.
We can come make a distraction up there. That's a good idea. Maybe you can go do some scouting for us, Al.
Okay, yeah.
Scout the ship.
The kitchen, the little galley.
You're looking for a can of sardines or something?
And I'll go up to the galley.
All right. So yeah, so you go in there and you'll see Oliver in there, probably maybe covered in a little baking powder, making some biscuits.
Oh no, he's standing back from the table and he's waving his fingers like this, and the air just seems to be doing its own thing. The bread is kneading itself and dusting itself with a little flour, and he's using cantrips to do all the work for him. Over here on this side, there's some potatoes being peeled, and over here there are some carrots being chopped, and he's just kind of standing back and directing it like an orchestra. He looks like he's so pleased and happy.
Yeah, and there's also a halfling in here with red hair, chubby, and he's also kind of just rolling out some dough and such. And you notice that his right hand, he is actually missing his pinky finger.
I knew it was the pinky. It's always the pinky. You always are missing the pinky.
And he just looks up.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hi."
Collin, are you alright?
Who's Collin?
Sorry, not Collin. Oliver. Sorry.
Hello, Risna. What are you doing on your chains?
Are you alright here? Are you want to stay or go with us?
Oh no, I'm staying right here where it's safe. I can cook all day long. I don't have to get involved and watch you slaughter poor innocent children.
Never know innocent children, that's for sure.
It's a matter of your opinion.
It's goblin innocent children.
It's a matter of every creature's opinion.
I am just fine where I'm at. You all can have yourselves a wonderful life.
You're going to stay on the slaver ship.
For now.
Alright.
This ain't a slaver ship. This is a pirate ship.
See, it's not a slaver ship. They let their slaves go.
Go downstairs and tell that bro.
It's like he says it's upstairs actually, but and there's probably only about 20 slaves right now in chains. The rest are all free men here. I came on this ship, signed up free. I didn't come on as a slave. Most men and the ones that are in chains, they're only in chains for a short time. By the time we hit the next port city, they'll be all unchained. We might have some new ones. You never know that we end up running across that end up being in that position. But the captain, he doesn't keep them in the sense of slaves. Not too long. It's more service. That's all.
That's the same sales pitch I've heard before.
Now, there's one thing about being a slave for the rest of your life. There's another thing about being a slave for maybe a month or two. Big difference.
Let me ask you this. You have 3 pouches of gold on your side, and I steal 1. You call me a thief? And I say, I'm not a thief. I left 2 of your bags there.
And then they take a finger. And he rubs his head missing.
That's changing the subject.
Well, that could happen.
All right, good luck, Oliver. You're not known for your wisdom. I'll check in on you. Come back. Make sure you still want to be with the slavers.
These are not slavers. The Captain Fraven is not a slaver.
Anymore.
Oh, he's a slaver. If you want to parse it the right way. He takes captives.
All right.
If you just kill everyone.
All right. So if you guys do anything else?
You jump off the ship.
So you'll in the a couple days go by. Well, just another day. You guys are all healed up and such.
So are we in open body water now?
Yeah, you're open. Yep, you're out in the ocean right now. And you'll hear land ho. And as you guys hear that, and you'll hear Carlsberg, make your guys selves ready. Get ready.
All right, people.
And as you guys come up on the top deck, you'll see off in the distance, not too far, as the ship's rowing up, this small island, but the back part of it has this rather large cliff face. But as you guys kind of go around it, and almost in a sense, almost as you guys kind of come through into the middle, it almost looks like a U. And there's a cliff face. As you guys get closer, you'll see a river, and it's heavy jungle. Heavy.
Like an old caldera that just had one side that came off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And but it's heavy jungle as you guys approach, and they
Well,
on the back of the ship.
damn it, where's Thorn when you need him? Welcome to the jungle.
They have two rowboats for you guys.
Can I do a knowledge history on what I know about swamp witches?
You can do. Yeah, you can do. Go ahead. Arcana or.
17.
Yeah, what do I know about this?
Well, you don't know anything about this. Her specifically, like.
Well, what can you tell us before we go in here about her? What do I need to watch out for when I'm here? Do we know?
So yeah, Carlsberg will say that all you guys are supposed to do is find her house.
Yep.
Once you spot it,
Right away.
come back.
As fast as possible.
Yes, in the boats.
17.
So the one, you know that there's a variety of witches. There's a variety of witches, and maybe they're talking about a hag for that matter. It could be a sea hag out here, or some sort of other hag. But yeah, you know that usually a lot of these times, sometimes they're seers and stuff, especially if they're, you know, by themselves or whatever.
What do they surround themselves by? Like just trogs, lizard folk?
It can be a variety. You've heard some, definitely ones in the swamps. Usually, yeah, it could have lizard men working for them or enslaved into them. It could have bullywugs, maybe. Could be trolls even that might be employed. So could be any of those.
All right. Well, get in the boats. Let's go.
Yep. So if you guys want to put your miniatures in the two boats, whatever boat you want to be in.
I'll be in the lead of the front boat.
I'll be in the back of the front boat.
This is so exciting. Get to get off the boat.
No, you'll,
Oh yeah, do we got a little
actually,
guy?
shoot in the back in the second boat. We're gonna keep her in the front.
We should.
with me.
If not, I'll get little feet. I know I have a bag of little guys.
We're gonna keep our warriors. I think. Yeah, one of us should stay in the back too, in case to watch the back.
We got Risna's figure somewhere.
So we got. Where's handsome Rickus's figure? We need one for him.
Yeah, Billy's getting.
Let's grab anything short.
Yeah, Billy's doing it.
Who's gonna be on the rowboat with me?
Looks like
I
it's gonna be.
Me and
I want to
Risna.
be on there with the most interesting
But you're
people.
probably gonna be in the middle, aren't you? Gonna be rowing, buddy.
Yeah.
You're strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's-
Think about that. As you guys are on these boats.
I want to be on the boat with lots of strangers.
Well, yeah. So you have
Me.
Dramire on the boat so far. We'll see who else. We're just getting
Ozichar, probably.
Ozichar might
miniatures.
be. Well, depending. Might be
You
front
need
boat.
help finding someone?
Ozichar, how strong really is Ozichar?
He's like 1 point less than me. He's a little weaker than me.
Okay, then I think I'm actually gonna have.
Two little horns in the
Ozichar roll. The first roll.
Dan, which one is you?
I'm the cat. At the rear of the boat.
Okay, can we put you in the second boat? No way, Ozichar can roll. 3 and 3 is 6. It's easier to have just 3 and 3.
No, there's
We're not
gonna
going to
be
be getting
4
every
and
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who's the fourth one again?
Risna.
Risna.
Oh,
This is
I
Risna.
wrote Risna down on here.
No, but
Dramire, Ozichar, Risna.
yeah, Ozichar
Alex,
is not.
Eryn.
Yeah, Ozichar's not in here yet.
Where's the Tieflings? It should be
Eryn.
over there.
Alex.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Or is it
6.
over by the table?
Oh, I don't have myself
Look
on
over
there.
there.
Yeah. All right. All right. So there'll be, yeah, there's gonna be 4 on there. I guess you could whatever you want then. But I want to put one of the big guys in each rowing. So
No,
Ozichar on one. And,
No,
Ozichar up front with.
Risna's gonna be one in up front. She's like the
Actually,
tank.
she's got some strength. I am as weak as that. That's why I use it.
But Risna would probably be up
Oh,
front
she's got
because
some
she's a
strength?
little bit more.
Those are all unpainted.
There are 3 tough guys. Me and the lead. Ozichar and then
No, you want to stick this guy there? Is you? No.
Eryn is supposed.
All right. So as you guys are getting the boats lowered into the water, you see this rather stout, bald man with these tattoos on his face, and he has this large harpoon, and he's like, and he steps back, and Carlsberg goes, he wishes you guys good luck on your journey.
I thought, oh shit, we got him coming with too.
That's how he just steps back. Yeah.
Okay. So I would be used to that then.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
All right.
You just shake your head. Though.
No.
Right.
He doesn't shake his head.
You too.
He understands.
All right.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are in.
Shaman just said good luck to us.
Are in your boats.
Us.
Actually, Billy, can you move them over to like that row area?
Ships.
Yeah, that right in front of that big little. There we go. That way they're perfectly. Move them up a little bit more. Yeah, perfect.
Do we make it to shore, Bill?
So you guys row to the river, row into this river, and the river itself, and as I said, it's jungle on each side of you, and as you guys row in further, it just becomes thicker. The jungle kind of just almost engulfs you. There's still light, but it's so heavy overbrush, and the water becomes greenish. It also becomes thick as